Yeah, Disco Cat. Hello, I'm Landis, and welcome back to Purrfect Date. Let's get on and see if romancing the cat's actually going to save Hugh. What should we do today? Oh, we don't have much choice, do we? Okay. We really don't have much choice. Assign me to work on a special subject. Let's go. Hugh, I have a very important job for you today. It's quite a tricky one, but you've proven yourself to be very capable, and I'm certain you can handle it. Follow me. I have a little lady I'd like you to meet. The professor leads me to a research lab in the forest. Instead of going in, he takes me to an area around the back. Ooh, dirty bastard. This is our brave little nugget, Ravenpaw. She has to be isolated over here, don't you, missy? Professor reaches into the cage, which is stood on a table, and picks up the tiny black cat that's sleeping inside. Such a good girl, aren't you? We keep her here, away from the others, because the poor thing is very unwell. Can you see the nasty rash? Is this the 6th cat? Professor Pauper holds out one of the cat's paws for me to inspect. It's red and swollen. Ravenpaw looks at me with her big watery eyes. One blue, one brown. They're probably watering because of the medication she's on, but it makes her look as if she's pleading with me. She doesn't seem to be able to eat without assistance either. Poor thing. We've been treating her as best we can, but I'm not sure if she'll make it. Perhaps not even to the end of the week. Professor lets out a sad sigh. I have my fingers crossed, though. We don't give up on any of these cats, do we, Ravenpaw? No, we don't. We're going to try and get you all better. She's such a pretty cat. Her eyes are enchanting, aren't they? She's a very pretty cat indeed, and she knows it too. You can tell. You know what a pretty thing you are, don't you? That comes across as creepy. I reach out to stroke Ravenpaw, but she struggles away from my hand. Ah, she's getting cranky. I think we've kept Grumpy Pants here awake for long enough. He puts her gently back into the cage and locks it shut. Ravenpaw seems to fall asleep instantly. I hope I didn't distress her. Of course not you. She's usually very wary of humans before she gets to know them. When I first found the poor thing on the beach, she almost scratched my eyes out, in spite of the terrible fragile state she was in. The professor smiles at the memory. Such a little trooper. She was half dead at first. She's gotten a lot better since then. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see her pull through this. I do hope so, Professor. Quite. Now, the reason I've brought you here is because, regrettably, I won't be able to see to Ravenpaw personally any longer. It's a pity as she's used to me now, but there's nothing for it. I've been given an extra workload recently and I need to share out a few of my odd jobs to accommodate it. I thought you would be the ideal person to look after Ravenpaw for me. I'm taken aback that the professor has trusted me with such responsibility. It's quite flattering, until I remember that he doesn't have much choice, me being the only assistant on the island. Every day she requires a change of dressing, a dose of medication, some cream rubbed into her rashes, and a syringe full of nutrient milk. This can be quite distressing for her, so I'd like someone with a nice, patient manner to take over from me. Would you be interested, Hugh? Of course, sir. I'd love to help out in any way I can. That's what I'm here for. Oh, splendid. I'm so glad. I think you and Ravenpaw will get along famously before too long. She has a sweet nature. I look forward to it, sir. Could you start now? Of course. Tip-top. I shall be in the lab if you need me for anything. Please don't be afraid to give me a shout. I'm terribly sorry to burden you with this so suddenly, but I have such a lot of work to do right now. Okay, Professor. I feel a little apprehensive as I watch Professor Pawpaw retreat into the lab. Didn't realize I'd be expected to do everything right now, without training or anything. I remind myself that this isn't like an ordinary lab back home. I must try to adapt to the higgledy-piggledy way things are done here. Take a deep breath. Change her dressing. I can do that. Hello, pretty kitty. I'm sorry, but I have to disturb you. The small cat lets out a sad mew as I lift her out of the cage. Oh, I know, life is unfair. Now where are your dressings? I put Ravenpaw next to the cage on the table. She lays down compliantly. She obviously knows the routine. She has a large bandage on the side of her ribs. I begin to gently remove it, trying hard not to pull on her skin too much. Well, I suppose if we're going to be doing this every day, we might as well get to know each other, right? So, hello, my name is Hugh. I'm quite new here. I know your name already, Ravenpaw. Nice name. I bet the professor named you. He certainly knows how to pick them, doesn't he? The cat tenses as I remove the last of the plaster and reveal a scar on a patch of bare skin, where the professor has shaved her for surgery. Oh dear, that scar looks very tender. I should clean it. Is that right, Ravenpaw? Let me look. There's some drawers under the table and I quickly find some antiseptic gel and cotton pads. Now, Ravenpaw, I'm going to level with you. This is going to sting a bit. But please don't take it out on me. I'm doing this for your own good. Okay? Trust me, you do not want this scar to become infected. That would be disastrous. Cat stays perfectly still while I wipe out the scar. She doesn't even make a sound. I have to say, I'm impressed and a little disquieted. Wow, you are a brave girl, aren't you? Well done. When I was a child, I cut my arm on some thorns and had to have antiseptic put on it. As I remember, I screamed the house down. Carefully put on the clean bandage, trying hard not to stick it to her fur. I suppose the medication comes next, doesn't it? What do we have here? I look through the drawers and find a box of pre-filled syringes labelled catatonic. Oh, I presumed you'd be taking tablets. But of course, the professor said you have trouble with solids, don't you? Poor thing. Okay, same thing as last time. Don't shoot the injector. I hold the skin on the back of Ravenpaw's neck tight and go to inject it quickly to get it over with. But the syringe is stiff. It takes a lot longer than I'd expected. Again, the little cat makes no response. Doesn't move a muscle. Almost as if she can't feel it. Good girl. Gosh, you are so tough. You know, I bet you and McMurphy would get on like a house on fire. Ravenpaw's ears prick up as if she heard a rattlesnake. Murphy is one of the coolest people. I mean, I was a little wary at first, but he has that Irish charm that's so hard to resist. Tiny Cat's head spins to look up at me. How do you know he's Irish? My heart lurches into my throat. Have you got it? You have, haven't you? You're sick. You've got the sickness. I have a million questions running through my head, but I'm unable to speak. Listen to me, human. You must help me. Suddenly jolt to my senses. I am trying to help you, Ravenpaw. Please, don't use the cream on me, it burns. It has given me these red patches. I know it hurts, but I have to rub it into your wounds. The red patches will get dry and itchy and even infected otherwise. No, please, I beg you, human. This stuff doesn't help. It doesn't. It hurts. I know it feels that way, but it's helping you, I promise. The professor has been caring for you so thoroughly since he found you. I'd get the sack if your treatment went downhill now. That man has only ever hurt me. I'm taken aback. The professor cares for you very much and only wants you to get better. The cat turns her face away as if she's given up hope. It pulls at my heartstrings and I pause for a moment. Oh, you dirty son of a bitch. Kind of want to help the cat, but... The professor did seem genuine with its care. But then they're still doing research and we know these creams are bad. But not in this game. Oh, this game and its choices. It's going so well. Is the pain because it's getting better? Or is the pain because the cream is shit? Because we know the creams give away blotches and stuff. Unless it's talking about the antiseptic gel. There is not enough information here for me to make a decision. Bollocks, listens to the cat. Okay, I'm taking a big leap here. I'm going to give you 5 days without this cream. And if I see any deterioration in your condition, it's back to a strict regime for you, Missy. And no complaints. Deal? Thank you, human. Okay. Easy enough. Yeah! No unlocks! Woohoo! I'm not really sure that counts as an unlock. Well, looks like we're resting. I sit in a position Professor Pawpaw taught me, legs crossed, back straight, wrists resting lightly on my knees and fingers formed into loose circles, with forefinger and thumb touching gently. I close my eyes and hear a rhythmic purring, slow and steady. My fur prickles at the sea breeze, and my ears twist at the distant sounds of feet on wood and seagulls crying in another faraway place. The smell of the sea fills my nostrils. The taste of salt fills my mouth. I begin to focus on my breathing and the rhythm of my heartbeat, allowing my mind to drift. As I take a deep breath in, the tide comes creeping towards me, as though I'm pulling it, when it's just centimeters away from my bare toes. I slowly release my outward breath to a count of 5 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With each beat, I push the tide back into the horizon until it's almost touching the rising sun. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drifting now, without attachment to thought, my mind free from worry and care. Okay, that was bizarre. Ooh, gee, what should we do today? Choices. I've been warned that despite their small size, these kittens eat like horses. I'm sure I can handle it though. Okay, I need more information about Ravenpaw. It's too early. This world isn't meant to be seen before 7 o'clock. These early mornings are still a shock to me, but I'm hitting my stride quicker. I need to get the kittens fed and cleaned out before my breakfast. It's easier to do it before the rest of the camp is awake, so there are less distractions. I prepare the mush, and my stomach turns at the milky smell so early in the day. I get the swab tray ready and grab a handful of kitty treats. Hello, biddies! I peer into the cage of the sleeping kittens. So cute. They're just waking up and ready for breakfast. I do a quick head count. 12. Good. No one tunneled out in the night? Come on, let's get you swabbed and fed. Om nom nom. I grab the first sleepy kitty, no more than a bowl of fluff. And as it opens its mouth to yawn, I dart in with the swab, bottle it, and onto the next furball. You're getting good at this. Oh, Trix, you're up early. Going to bed late, actually. I keep swabbing, and in no time I've gotten all 12 little cats into the feeding cage, and I've begun cleaning up the sleeping area. Oh, cute. How long will they stay here for? I'm not sure. Generally, they're kept here for about 10 weeks, and then some are released back into the wild immediately. Some are moved to be examined further. Still getting the hang of how it all works around here. It's a shame. They aren't all released, isn't it? Yes, I suppose so. They'll all be released eventually, just some later than others. You think so? Well, yes, unless they're very poorly, like Ravenpaw. Ooh. I'm pretty sure that's her lost sister she mentioned. Trixie winces at the mention of the black cat's name. Very few of those kittens actually get released into the wild, Hugh. What do you mean? Of course they do. As long as they're healthy. Oh, wow. And you know this, do you? You release them yourself? Well, no, but Professor Pawpaw told me that the kittens get discharged at between 10 to 12 weeks. Oh, I see. Trixie smiles, but it looks fake. If I were you, I'd tag one of this litter. Oh no, they're too young for tagging. You have to wait until they're at least 12 weeks. That one over there, he looks very healthy. I'm sure if you tagged him, you'd be able to see for yourself what happens to the healthy kittens. As I go to answer, I hear the breakfast bell in the distance. Oh, Cinderella has to fly. and the calico cat is gone as quickly as she appeared. Come on in, kitties. Let's get you back into your nice clean cage. Can't help but think about what Trixie has said. She seems genuinely concerned, and there must be some basis for that. After all, she's been here a lot longer than me. Maybe tagging one of these kittens wouldn't be such a bad idea. What would be the harm? Well, if we get caught, we're going to get shot by the fucking boatman. Do it. Come on in. Back to... But before I even finish my sentence, my hand has grabbed the chipping pen and I've tagged the plump grey male. Probably silly, but it won't harm you, and it could teach me something useful. Okay. Yay! Not really an unlock, but okay. So, we're pushing the story forward. We're not getting any more questions, really, but we're still not getting any bloody answers. Although we are starting to ask the questions. Once you complete your research, your time on Cat Island will come to an end. Have you seen everything? No, because we're still waiting to see if Ravenpaw gets better, and we're still waiting to see where that tagged cat goes. Why would you do this to me? Research 7. Professor Pauper says we'll be testing some experimental medicines today. I just hope I have the stomach for it. But I want my answers. I arrive at the lab a little later than usual today. I got held up at the incredibly important task of petting all the cats I saw on my way in. Really crucial stuff. As I enter, I see a large, unmarked wooden box on the table. Morning, Professor. I wasn't expecting you to be working alongside me today. I'm not, I'm afraid. I'm actually in rather a hurry. But I needed to explain to you a new protocol I'd like you to carry out for me. He opens the lid of the crate and inside are rows of small clear bottles, each containing white fluid. What's this? Milk? No, these are samples from our offshore lab. Samples of what? So many questions. Curiosity is a marvelous trait for scientists. Now, I want you to run some tests on these. I want you to check how they respond to contact with compounds 16, 18, and 24. I notice how deftly he evades my question. Once you've done that, provided there are no complications, I need you to apply the sample to some of the cats and record the results. I beg your pardon? Apply the sample to the cats, Hugh. We're looking for specific reactions. Of course, sir. But oughtn't I have a little more information before I start applying an untested product to a living subject? Look, Hugh, I understand your concerns. Of course I do. However, once in a while, one has to trim the red tape. And this is one of those occasions. Now, I really am in the most awful rush, my dear, but I have complete faith in you. Ooh, it's a bit dodgy. And suddenly, I'm alone. Pick up one of the samples from the box. It looks like a miniature milk bottle, but the fluid inside is creamier than milk. I retrieved the compounds from the cabinet that the professor wanted me to test, and spent some time combining them with the sample. From what I can tell, the compounds are some kind of organic material, but no one has told me where they come from or what they actually are. I look at them under the microscope one by one, and add a little bit to the sample. A bit like a glue, so it's hard to get it to combine. But once I do, something odd happens. The dead cells that make up the compound start to move excitedly. They aren't coming back to life exactly, but they are behaving like living cells. I have no idea what this stuff is, or its intended use, but I do know that I feel uncomfortable applying it to live subjects. I look at the cats in their cages, they look back at me with trusting eyes. Oh, what's with all of the fucking choices? I mean, I shouldn't complain, it's adding some actual gameplay elements to the story. But no. Not making zombie cats. No, I'm not going to do it. If the professor continues to withhold information, then I think it's only right that I put the responsibility back on him. He can carry out this procedure himself. Send Pawpaw a message on my catalogue. I feel I cannot continue my task today until I understand the implications of what it is I am being asked to do to the cats. I didn't get a reply right away. Eventually, the catalogue beeps. Professor Pauper has replied. Oh dear, that's disappointing. I'd be happy to comply if you could just give me a little more information. If you really are having such difficulties in carrying out your duties, perhaps it would be best for me to find someone who is better equipped. I'm afraid I may lose my job if I don't administer the sample. Fucking arsehole. Nah, fuck you. I feel the implicit threat. I'm sorry you see it this way, sir. I love my job here, but this oversteps a personal boundary. Collect your things. You can catch the boat in the morning. Still can't quite believe what happened and that I'm really heading home already. I went to see the professor in his tent last night to discuss our difference of opinion. I was hoping to straighten things out so that I could continue working here, but he wasn't there, and I received a curt message from him asking that I be on the boat first thing in the morning. So here I am, heading to the jetty where the boat is waiting for me. I feel very alone in the morning mist. No one to wave me off. Oh well, it's too late for regrets now. I shall focus on the excitement of returning to my old life. Strange, even after such a short time, I can't seem to remember much about my life before. Joe, the ferryman's son, takes my bag and helps me onto the boat. That was quick. You drink all the boss's whiskey or something? Something. He looks at me suspiciously. Must be bad then, playing with them cats instead of working. Let's just go, shall we? I can't wait to get home. And where would that be? Huh? Home. You know where your home is, don't you? Don't be daft. For some reason my mind won't focus and I can't seem to remember. Where then? It's... Don't worry. You just sit there for a minute. Dad? Fuck's sake. The older man comes out of the cabin and joins us on the deck. Got a problem here, son? I reckon so. This one can't even remember their own name. What? Yes I can, it's, Before I can answer, the older man has pulled what looks like a gun from his coat and is aiming it at me. It's not personal, Hugh. We just have to take precautions. Can't have any problems reaching the mainland now, can we? Oh, for fucking bastard, shit stained ass bugger. New unlocks. Elementary extras research 8. That doesn't make me feel any better. Woohoo! In a relationship with Trixie. He's dead, and we got sacked. We still have no secrets. Yeah. Oh! Snap! We didn't finish the research. Ooh. Son of a bitch. That was a mistake. Running out of people. You. Sally. Chapter 4. Oh, God. What an amazing journey. I've always enjoyed being out in the open waters, and this really was smooth sailing. I almost skip off the wooden jetty to be greeted by a burly man in a security jacket. Addy. I rummaged about in my bag until I found a laminated security pass I was issued on the mainland. Sally. Come on in, Skipper. Follow me. Luckily, this guy isn't the sociable type, so I can take in the sights without distraction while we whiz along the forest path. It all looks so lush and green. The boss is in there. Glad to have you on board, Sally. Shall we go through a few formalities and then call it a day? That way you can get some rest before you start work properly tomorrow. Sounds good to me, sir. So, first, shall we have a little refreshment? I have water, coffee, or something stronger. Perhaps gin? Yes. Ooh, coffee. Normally it's tea. Yeah, a coffee would be welcome. I would offer you Irish, but we're out of whiskey. Unless the gin. Just plain is great for me. The rest of the day is taken up with the procedural stuff, Professor Pawpaw showing me around the island personally. It was nice to get to know him a little bit. He's rather eccentric, but in a nice way. The thing that stands out most is my catalogue. This technology is something else. I used to scan some cats, but it can do so much more than that. The professor was most insistent that I keep it safe, which I intend to. As I'm settling into my tent, I make a discovery that really catches my attention. It's a notebook that was obviously written by my predecessor. They've left it under my bed, which is good as an invitation to read it as far as I'm concerned. I think it may be the first draft of a novel, and it's not bad either. I certainly have a vivid imagination. There are bizarre stories and talking cats, and other island anomalies. They were obviously very inspired by their surroundings. I must say that it's a great read. Imagine if they were true. Oh, how little do you know. I laugh at my little fantasy as I snuggle down for my first sleep on Cat Island. Let me guess. Sometime in the middle of the night, I'm woken by an intruder in my tent. Before my brain can catch up with what's going on, I've leaped from my bed shouting, "Who's there?" I scrambled around for a few seconds before I realised that the notebook has been taken. The next thing I know, I'm running through the forest barefoot, chasing what looks like a cat. This is insane. A wave of nausea rises up in me, and I realise that I've become perilously close to the danger zone. Remembering the warnings in the notebooks, I try to turn back, but my legs give way under me. I close my eyes tight as I hit the ground. I open my eyes. A calico cat is standing in front of me. It drops the notebook from its mouth. I pass out. Hello, you little bastards. I'm laying on the sand, surrounded by cats looking down at me. Yeah, caught us a live one. Move back, child. Yes, let them breathe, but it won't be alive for much longer. As my brain begins to defuzz, I realise that this is what I was reading about in the novel. Only it wasn't a novel at all. My stomach tightens to a knot. It was a journal. I focus my eyes and pick out the big marmalade cat. Have I been bitten? Well, of course you've been bitten. How else would you be able to hear us? This one's an idiot. Don't be rude. Calico Cat turns to me. You know about being bitten? You read the journal? Most of it? Enough to understand what's happening here, right, Kara? Enough to know you have a choice to make. I look from the cats to my scratched and bitten arms and back again. Fucking assholes. Enough to know there is no choice, we have to help each other. Bravo, Kara. So let's cut to the chase. We've already done the chase bit. Hush now. What do you need to know, human? Still a bit dazed and in shock. Everything ready? At that moment, my catalogue starts beeping, telling me I have 15 minutes to get back to camp and start my first day at work. I have to go. Let me get myself together and we can catch up later. I have a feeling now you're going to do very well, Kara. The best one yet. Oi, you fell in love with the other one. Slut. Just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalogue beeps. It's a message without any contact information. In calm water every ship. I keep forgetting to bloody read that. What? I don't even... No, I've had just about enough mystery as a person can handle for one day. If you want to be anonymous, I shall take it. You also don't mind being ignored. The professor's already working when I arrive, but I'm not late. There is no fuss. I get through the day as efficiently as possible and head back to my tent as soon as my work is done. I want to get to grips with finding out all I can. Oh, here we go again. Oh, extras. Oh, Sherlock 1. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I was hoping for information. Something has woken me and I can't work out what it is. I'm so used to the sounds of the island by now, waves crashing in and out, yowling, and the sounds of the occasional catfight, that they no longer disturb my sleep. Whatever it was, something seems to have stopped, so I bring my blanket up to my chin and allow my eyes to close. The sound of the waves gets fainter, and my mind drifts further and further away into the land of sleep. Suddenly, I'm awake again. I can hear a strange noise coming from somewhere nearby. From my very tent, in fact. It sounds like scratching. Strange to make it out. It's familiar, but uncommon. Like a pen on rough paper. Not a pen, exactly. A quill, perhaps. I sit up abruptly and find myself alone in the tightly fastened tent. I reach for my torch to take a better look around and realize I'm holding something in my fist. Don't remember grabbing anything. It's a folded piece of paper. I open it slowly, wary of what it might be. I must have written a note to remind myself of something and then forgotten I'd even written it. This place certainly messes with your mind. I look at the elaborate swirling cursive. It's definitely not my handwriting. It's not very swirly. Do you need assistance? S-H. Who is S-H? Is S-H important? Who is S-H? I do a quick mental run through of everyone on the island, and the initials don't fit anyone. Maybe it means shh, as in keep quiet. But even so, assistance with what? Sherlock Holmes! Fuck me! That took me too long to get. I stared at the piece of paper for a while, wondering who could have slipped it into my hand while I was sleeping, and more importantly, why. I scrutinized the handwriting. It's unusual and beautiful. Normally I would think this was some kind of practical joke, but it's been written by someone with such a deft hand. I cannot imagine anyone here being capable of this class of penmanship. This has got to be written by an artiste. Why would someone assume I need assistance with something? In spite of myself, I begin to drift back to sleep. Well... Oh, seriously? Well, do you need assistance? I'm sorry, what? Who are you? Take out the catalogue and try to scan the mysterious cat. No data available. Who am I? If I might be permitted to make the introductions, Dr. John K. Watson. Most happy to make your acquaintance. He held out his little paw for me to shake. Hello? And this is the legendary Sherlock C. Holmes at your service. Sherlock doesn't even look at me. I think his ego may be bruised by me not instantly recognizing him. We're here to help. Help who? Why, you, of course. Oh, I wasn't aware I needed help. If you do not see that you are not equipped to help yourself, I put it to you that you are in more need of our help than was previously understood. He's rarely wrong, so yes or no? Yes. Maybe? Allow me to alleviate you of some of the questions that are inevitably swirling around in that tiny, diurnal brain of yours. It has come to my attention that you are interested in finding out more about the true nature of the island. That's a good thing. It indicates that you may not be quite as stupid as you look. Now really, Holmes, I would ask you not to insult our client. Oh, I do not mean to insult them. Surely even they are not so stupid that they do not know how stupid they are. As I was saying, my interest has become sufficiently aroused as to prompt me to agree to aid you in your endeavours to unravel this little mystery you have stumbled upon. Clearly we cannot do all the hard work for you, but we shall assist you to the best of our abilities, my abilities being far more useful than that of my colleague here, obviously. Now, Holmes, really, what my good friend here is trying to say is that we are at your service, and shall do our best to help you find the answers you seek to the questions you ask. Well, I suppose that's very nice of you, but before you go any further, who sent you? Sherlock and Watson share an inscrutable look. You really must focus on asking the right questions if we are to make any progress. I shall appear with intelligence shortly. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I sit up in bed again. Zane is calling me through the tent flap. Or should I say good afternoon? Crumbs, I've overslept. Okay. That was bizarre. More extras. Awesome. I'm kind of liking the Sherlock Holmes thing now because we got a different little twist. I don't know if it counts towards the date or our rest or whatnot, but no, it doesn't. It's just an extra. Awesome. If you enjoyed this episode, then tickle the like button, perhaps subscribe, and check out the rest of the channel. Why not join us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon? Links are in the description and rolling through the credits right now. I've been Landis, and this has been Purrfect Date. Thank you very much, and I shall see you soon.